graduation, I worked. I did some retail because it was really difficult to get a job at that time in Melbourne, because as a foreigner, the challenge is pretty real. and then I got a full-time job doing credits and collections. So fast forward till to the beginning of last year, I started investing in myself to learn more about sales, to learn more about closing, right? And throughout the time that I was learning, throughout the time that I was actually having some gigs, right, to close for people, I started coaching pro bono, right? So I was helping people who are new to sales, who wants to step up their pretty much their closing abilities, right, to improve their closing abilities. And I didn't realize that I had a passion in coaching until I started doing it, right? So it was just like, I wouldn't say a coincidence, because I believe everything happens for a reason, but one decision that I made, right, to step out of my comfort zone, to start coaching people, um, led me to this point, right? So one thing that kept me going at that time, even when I was doing pro bono, even when I was really helping people just to give back, right, is that the people that I used to help, that I coached previously, they were able to gain so much value and they were able to get results from it, right? So fast forward to this year, I've decided that, I know that for a fact, um, I was asking myself, should I continue doing pro bono or should I start charging, right? And I know for a fact that people will get more results, people will be more committed when they are invested in something, right? So that's the reason why I started taking the coaching into a business, right? Make it really serious, so that, yeah, there's commitment from the both of us, right? When something is involved, right?
Yes,
So,
because you got to have skin in the game,
yeah, skin in the game,
Yeah.
exactly, right? We humans, we tend to take things for granted, right? No matter how we look at it, right? That's just the reality. So that's how it came about. So I had my first batch of paid clients around April, right? And they were able to generate massive results from my help. And of course, individually, they were really awesome. They were amazing coaches as well. They were in the right mindset. They were in the right frequency. So with my help, it's more of just tweaking and fine tuning areas that they can possibly improve on, right? So I come in, I help people in that sense, really understanding their approach when it comes to them closing, right, or talking to someone. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Because I mean, not only have you sort of been in the same, I guess, where I am right now in Melbourne and in Monash, and the journey of someone moving from home, from another country and to a foreign country, that transition in itself is already quite incredible. Like, it takes a lot of bravery and self-belief to know that you can just you can transition and drop yourself in a new country, new city environment, and then just take it where you have, and then obviously returning back home. So I want to sort of go into a little bit more about the self-belief, because I think that that's something that, I mean, myself and a lot of people, we struggle with, and it affects our confidence, and it's also, I guess it's hard, like, because sometimes you feel like maybe you're faking it as well. And like, how do you sort of achieve self-belief? Like, what do you find has worked for you?
So I think the term that you're referring here is might be the imposter syndrome, right? Where when you are first starting out, and you feel that, can I really do this, right? Like, or am I just faking it, that sort of thing, right? um, Believe me, I've had that experience. I went through that. So one thing that made me overcome that limiting self-limiting belief, right, I call it as a self-limiting belief, is that really understanding, because look at it this way, I know for a fact that I could help someone and people believe that I can help them, right? So it doesn't really make sense if I don't believe in myself, because we tend to self-sabotage ourselves all the time.
Yes.
Believe it or not, right? And
Yeah.
I wasn't really conscious of it, and until to a point where I started becoming more consciously aware. And every time I find myself being in that position where I'm self-sabotaging myself, I just try to snap out of it, right? Just snap out of it, and really believe that I'm here for a
Mm.
reason. I'm in this path, I'm in this world, I'm in this doing what I'm doing for a reason, right? And I know for a fact that
Mm.
this is one of my purpose in life, to help someone. So I made it into my
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting you say like you made it into your purpose, because I
Mm-hmm.
think like a lot of us, we walk around, sort of having that pondering question of like, well, what is my purpose and what is my reason for being? And it's like it's hard. You don't actually. Some of us, we go through life like yourself. You go through the engineering, you do the degree and everything, and it turns out that you end up doing something else that you seem very passionate about.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think can we dive into that a little bit more? Like, so how does someone actually go about finding their purpose or making it their purpose?
I guess one main thing that you, if how do I put it, you need to really be passionate with what you're doing, right?
That's a
You
big one.
can't um be doing something that you don't like or something that you don't enjoy, right? And because if you want, let's say, if you're doing something that you don't enjoy but you feel that it's your purpose, then I can assure you that it's not your purpose. Because if it's your purpose, you will really enjoy what you do, and you will just get really immersed in whatever that you do, because that's something you're passionate about, right?
Mm, yeah, and it's a term, I
Purpose,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah,
purpose comes with passion, right? Or
yeah,
passion
they
comes
go.
with purpose. Yeah, they go hand in
Yeah,
hand.
they kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, because it's the double P, that's the power you get. Purpose, passion. I think that's one of the things when I was growing up, I actually wrote that down. So my favorite color is purple. So it's another P. And I was like, okay, so passion, power, and purpose, those are actually the things that I wanted.
Mhm.
It's just you brought it back up to me now. And the thing is, it's one thing to say like, oh yeah, you got to enjoy what you do, you got to be passionate. It's a term that we see on the media, like do what you
Mhm.
love, like, and then you'll be free, sort of thing. But in reality, a lot of people actually,
Don't
they
find it.
do jobs or they do things that they don't like
Yeah.
for a very long time, and that's why you have these things like 40 in the 40s, like midlife crisis, or the quarter life crisis. These days it's like 25 and we're getting a crisis.
Yep.
And people aren't finding, sometimes it's really hard for someone to find what they really love, or they don't know what they want or what they
Mhm.
enjoy. And they need to work because people need money. People need to
Yeah.
survive and have a family, and they
Yep.
got things going on. So what's your perspective on that? Like when they have certain beliefs or they have a lifestyle that they're trying to uphold, how can they still find their purpose or passion?
Yeah, it all comes down to your intention, right? Let's say you're in the middle of, you have a family, you are working 9 to 5 because you need to support your family. But if your intention is not on doing something that you're passionate about, it's easy to just continue on and not stepping out of your comfort zone or setting the intention that you want to start something different, right? Because I truly believe that once you set the intention,
Mm,
right, the energy will come, the attention, everything will just start reflecting into your reality. So the intention of people
mm,
people need to have the intention that if they're really serious about wanting to start something, set that intention, right? And really being immersed in that intention that you really want to do something. And I'm always a firm believer that you're always one decision away from something greater in your life, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes, you can have the intention, but if you don't make a decision, then it's not going to work out as well.
Yeah.
And it's important to really find out why you want to be doing something different. If you're in, if you're pretty much doing the same thing, if you're comfortable, right? Because and there's no, it's not wrong to be comfortable with where you are, but for those people who feel that they are stuck, right, in their 9 to 5, for example, in their job, and wanting to start something different, set the intention, make a decision, and live in that experience where you have something, you are starting something up, right? And it might take time, right? It might take some time for you to build something because of the commitment, the existing commitment that you have, right? For example, right, you, Pauline, I think you're pretty much on the same boat. You made a decision, you set the intention of being a coach, and here you are right now today, right?
And it's taken a lot of time. Like
Yeah.
everything you're saying is so true. Like it's not just like, yeah, sure. Like we have the intention, but then, sometimes it's the indecision as well. Like you said, if you're not making a decision, then like you kind of just sitting there procrastinating, like, oh, what are people going to think if I change, or what if I invested all my time in my degree. This is something that a lot of people experience, where they invest time in education, and then like yourself, we have invested our time, and then it's like really pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone to really start in a new direction. That is really hard for a lot of people. Yeah.
And that comes with having a strong mindset. Mindset is everything. If you set your mind that you want to accomplish something, you want to do something different, you want to pursue passion, that's where the power of mindset comes in, right?
Yes, I love that you have touched on this, because I love talking about mindset. I'm a mindset coach myself, and that's the thing. Like I've changed so much because of mindset, of sort of building. It takes time, but sort of creating a mindset or getting different perspectives from different people has really helped to shape my mindset. And allowed me to sort of do what I do now as well. But yeah, let's go into it a little bit, because it's fascinating. Like people are like, oh, mindset, like, oh, it's so broad. Like what is mindset?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So,
people, I guess it's just right now, because there's so many materials about mindset, right? So there's a lot of noise out there in YouTube. People have all these perceptions or perspective towards the word mindset, but it's actually very, very simple, right? Like, so as for me, what's your definition, Pauline, when it comes to the word mindset? What does that mean for you?
The first thing that came to mind was something silly, which was just like setting your mind in the right sort of frame, which is essentially the word mindset broken up. But I think mindset is a way of thinking. And it's a way of thinking of the world or situations that, in different ways, so that it allows you to move forward with some sort of momentum, or have like a more, like a rounded perspective, rather than just like set in your way, like very fixed. And I think one of the books that I read as well, which is quite popular, by 𝗕𝗲𝗿, it's called Growth Mindset, and or just called Mindset, but she talks about the differences between a fixed one and a growth mindset. So I don't know if you've read that book.
I've read. I haven't read it before, but I've heard about it before. Yeah.
But well, basically, so there's two types of mindset. The first mindset is the fix, which is where you're sort of really stuck in, and you think a certain way, and you're not willing to sort of change. It's just based on sort of the way that you were raised, and you're like, yep, this is the way it should be, and this is the way that it should be forever as well. I can't think of an example right now, but yeah, check out the book, and on YouTube there's heaps of like differences between fixed and growth mindset. But I want to sort of go into more of the growth mindset, which is something I think you and I, Hadzwan, have adopted. And a lot of coaches in general, we have to have a growth mindset because we have to be ahead of our clients and help to grow people. That's what we're in the business of. So yeah, let's touch on you know, what your thoughts are on sort of how does someone actually achieve the right mindset for success.
So with the right mindset, so I believe that when it comes to developing a strong mindset, you need to do a lot of inner work, right? And for me, from my personal experience, how I started changing my mindset into a growth mindset is to practice gratitude, right? So there's a lot of things that can contribute to a growth mindset, right? But I know for a fact that being grateful, being in a state of gratitude will automatically help you developing a strong mindset. Because when you are being in a state of gratitude, you will see things differently, right? You can't be in a state of gratitude when you're frustrated. You get what I mean?
No.
So your mindset, you are slowly feeding your mindset with things that are going to help you, things that are going to benefit you, things that are going to serve, right? So there are a lot of exercises that you can do, right, on how to build a strong mindset. But I'm always a firm believer that it all comes down to setting the intention. If you want to start having a growth mindset, you need to set the intention that you want to have a growth mindset and start taking the steps, start progressing. You can't expect today I want to have a stronger mindset and tomorrow you don't do anything about it, right?
Yeah, it definitely complements action. That's where sort of you develop the growth in your mindset, because I think a lot of the times, like you said, with gratitude. So I'll give you an example. There was one time a few years back where I had left the corporate world and I was working in a cafe, which is something that I always I wanted to do when I was young. I wanted to sort of tick a few boxes of I want to work in retail, and I just wanted to experience what it was like to work in hospitality. So I went there, but I had a really bad experience because my manager was terrible. They treated me really bad. And I think at that time, that's when I started learning about gratitude because I went to yoga and I was really unhappy and really stressed. And I was like, oh my God, you know, like how now that I've like really let go of my ego, I've come all the way from, you know, management position, and then I'm working as a waitress. That is a very different area, you know. And I think that helped me in terms of, you know, started journaling. I started, you know, thinking of what I was grateful for each day, even if the manager was mean to me, but maybe they did something for me. They made me a coffee. I was grateful. And I think when you start from being grateful, that's when you can sort of realize that you have everything that you need and want already. I think you sent me something about that. Yeah, like you know, everyone we always like want something. We set a goal, you know, chase after it. I want to grow myself, develop. But the thing is that you already have everything that you want to need. You know, you can expand on that, I think, because I think that's something that it's really important.
I feel that everything is already within, right? Everything, it already exists. Whatever that you want is already exists in the frequency, right? This we're going to be touching a little bit on energy, right? Right. So basically, how do I put it? There's a quote, right, that I sent you. Just let me look at that quote again.
Yeah, have a look.
Yeah. So this is a quote that I actually got from a friend of mine as well. So yeah, so it starts with, it already exists. You'll never find it until you realize that you have it. Because it's true, right? How can you find it if the one place you won't look is where you are? So if you're not in a state of gratitude, you won't be able to see what you have already. And everything that you possibly want is already You already have it.
It's within you.
It's within you, right?
Yeah.
It's just really being the experience, right? Really tuning into the experience, and you will see it, right? Because whatever that your mindset as well, the energy that you're in, that itself will shape into your reality. Right? Your perspective is pretty much whatever your mindset is going to shape whatever that you think is real or not.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like what you said about what gratitude does for everyone is that it's kind of like filling up your own cup first, because once you realize that you've got enough water in your cup, that you don't need anything else, from that point onwards, this is a little bit like, woo, but like from that point, it's like you almost can boil your own water, or you can cool it down. This is just a bit strange, but I'm just coming up with it now. Is that you have the power to whether you want to use up the water or how you want to distribute the water is up to you. And how you want to heat it up or cool it down is all up to you. But I think the moment that you start to come from a place of lack, like if you don't have the gratitude and you're like, oh, this person's mean to me, or I'm not getting these opportunities, and you're looking outside of the glass, that's when you start to drain your energy.
Yes.
And you maybe even start to get controlled by other people. You're on other people's schedules, or you're doing things for other people and not maybe taking care of yourself and filling up your own cup. So that's more maybe more on the self-love side as well. That's part of it. But yeah, like sort of let's go into the energy a little bit more. Like what are your thoughts, I guess when it comes to, I mean, you're a sales professional or coach, sort of what's important about energy, and how does someone what do you mean by energy?
Well, energy is a very deep topic. But so in the context of sales or closing, or even communication, right? Or we as humans, human interactions, human communication, your energy will introduce you before you speak. Because when you get in a room with someone, or when you get into a Zoom meeting, right now that with the pandemic that's going on, without saying anything in the first few seconds when the video is on, you could feel the energy already, right? So and you will know and your energy matters as well, because if you're in a state of having a negative energy, everything that you see is going to feel, right? Everything that you go through is going to feel negative because you're in that negative energy. So it's very contagious as well, but if you're in a positive energy, you start attracting. Like attracts like, right? So I really don't know much on how to, because it's a very deep topic, right?
Yes. And there are more experts on this topic that if you want to go on YouTube, you type in energy, so much comes up. And I think like a lot of it, if anyone is interested, there's even like topics about quantum energy and quantum leap. I hear that a lot, and I've listened to a lot of things about it. But I guess simply put is that there's positive and negative energy, just like a battery. So sorry, it's frozen a bit. Yes, although you're a bit frozen, that's all right. So like a battery, and there's certain waves which are called frequencies that everyone exhibits. So that's why, like, when I've read a few books, and obviously going out to networking events as well, I'm not sure if you've experienced this, Hadzwan, but when someone walks into a room, right, even though you don't know them, they haven't spoken or anything, but as soon as someone walks into a room, you sense a certain vibration. They call it like vibration is like the frequency of waves, just like radio waves, like, or when you listen to music, the Hz, the frequency. Everyone exhibits a different type of energy or frequency, And that's why when you make certain connections with people, just like yourself and myself right now, we have a certain wavelength which attracts us to each other. And then there are people who have different frequencies and maybe you don't feel the connection with them. So there's this thing called vibing, like if you're vibing with someone. Just like if you go to a nightclub and, you know, you don't even have to say anything, but sometimes there's some people that you're just, you know, you want to dance and you're like, I feel comfortable with this person. And then other people you don't. So I guess that give a little bit of context on what energy is and what frequency is. It's something that's very hard to describe, but I think, you know, the more sort of awareness you have of what energy you're exhibiting, then the more that you can sort of change your life and the way that you act.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I would like to share as well. I started seeing massive changes in my personal life, my business, after I really learned a bit about, you know, energy and being in the right frequency, right? So, and being the right, being the experience that you want it to translate into your reality. So I really don't want to get into the details because I might not be the best person to, but one thing that I'm practicing, one thing that I'm implementing right now is that every night before I go to sleep, right, I always tune into, be like immerse myself, marinating myself in the experience of me, what I want in terms of what pretty much what I want it to translate into reality. Let's say if I want to have a, you know, a better relationship with, you know, my parents, right? So before I go to sleep, I'll just close my eyes and I'll have this experience in my mind that, you know, I'm talking to my parents, we are going somewhere for a holiday, and really feeling it. Because thoughts and feelings, right? When you combine those two together, that's when the magic happens. So for everyone that wants to, and it's not your job to think about the how, right? Because that's when people start, let's say if they want to achieve 100K, right, a year. So if you are marinating yourself in the experience that every night you go to sleep with, I already have the 100K, I'm already making 100K, and the feelings that I have when I have all those things, right, that I want. If you, how do I put it? So it's more of really immersing yourself in that experience, because when you are putting yourself in that frequency, by the universal laws, it will come to you, right? And the how doesn't really matter, because people tend to figure out, people tend to think, how am I supposed to get this? How am I supposed to achieve this, right? It's not, don't put so much weight on thinking about the how, because for me to get to this point of my life, I didn't really think about the how as much. Everything, let it just flow naturally, right? Because if I'm thinking about the how, I'm just controlling. I'm just in the mode of wanting to control the outcome, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's hard, and it's hard to control outcomes because that's life, right? It's not like that we can really control what path we're on. There are certain aspects that we can control, like we can have a plan and a vision and, you know, put in the work, but that kind of changes as well over time. So not to put the pressure on to control the outcome, but more just to really enjoy the process, take it one step at a time. But I think, like you said, it comes down to intention. You know, like why do you want to do what you want to do? You know, maybe it gives you joy. You know, but I think with intention is also like, what do you value? So that's really powerful to really know very clearly what it is that you value in your life, because once you know what you value, then you can set intentions according to your values. And that's when you can achieve true freedom. You know, you liberate yourself from everything, all the attachments, all the things that on outside of yourself that you think that you want or that you need. You only need yourself. And then from that point onwards, you know, you can try and achieve whatever success means for you.
And just to point out a little bit, since we were in the control and planning, right? I don't know if you realize it, Pauline, but we're not controlling how we breathe. We're not controlling how our body works, right? We're not controlling the blood flowing. So
that's true.
So if you really think deeply, are we actually ever in control of anything? Right?
Good.
Planning,
that is a gold question.
Right? Planning is planning, but throughout the plans, things might change and you can't control it, right? Certain things just happens for some reason, and no matter how much you want to try and control it, you can't. Right? But if you really to think deeply, right? Are we really in a position of controlling anything that happens in our lives?
And that, I think, springs up so many other questions that probably like we could go on for the whole day. Like we'll talk the whole day. But because I think with sometimes there's a question, I even wonder if like each of us maybe whatever that people believe in, whether it's a God or some universe, something that's outside of ourselves, a force. Because the question is, it could be that there is already a path that's the world has predetermined for us, and we're just on it, you know. And there are that's why there are certain things that happen to people and you think, oh, this person's such a good person, but all these bad things happen to them. Why? Oh, this person is a bad person, but all these other, you know, they have all these blessings. Why? And that's where I think your point of you know, are we really in control of anything? Maybe it's already predetermined. Maybe we're just like the Sims game. Do you know the Sims game? Like you're just wandering around and so I think, I guess the lesson here is like not to get so attached to what the outcome is.
Exactly.
Because sometimes you can't control it. And just to go with the flow, but obviously take it you know, have an intention, because that's the starting point.
So let's talk about belief, right? I know energy is a really deep conversation. What are your thoughts on belief? Hello? Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, and apologies as well, like with the connection
no worries.
today. Thoughts on self-belief?
Yeah, about belief when it comes to anything that you do, or when it comes to being, you know, having a strong belief that contributes to your success.
That is a tough one. You know, I do struggle with self-belief. I have in the past. I still do from time to time, because I find that with anyone that has a growth mindset or wants to improve themselves constantly, and always sort of putting themselves in uncomfortable positions, just like in coaching, we're always sort of in the unknown. We don't sometimes we don't know what the next step is, but we are creating it as we go. Is that with belief, I find that a lot to do with, it links back to intention again. You know, what do I want? Why do I want it as a starting point? And then the biggest thing that comes to self-belief is actually taking action. It's kind of as simple as that, really. I think in my mind is that anything that, you know, any kind of success that you're wanting, whether it's a relationship, whether it's like a career or carving an entrepreneurial path, I think it really comes down to like the reason why you're doing something, and then actually just taking small little steps one at a time, and actually just being able to see what the outcome of that is, of that step. And I find that the belief, you know, the start is the hardest, but once you start going and taking steps, you get feedback. You know, are you doing well? Did it work? Did it not work? Why didn't it work? And I think that adjustment and constant sort of getting feedback when you try and take an action, that really helps to reinforce the self-belief. For people, in that maybe if, like, let's say you hate, I don't know, you want to be an engineer, right? You want to be an engineer, but then maybe when you go into the workforce, you think that that's what you want, but then as you try to do whatever the engineers do, maybe drafting like a construction plan or something, maybe it's not really like suitable for your skills. You know, some people might do it better than you, but you get feedback, and then it reinforces whether is this something that that I think I'm good at? Am I good at this, or am I not good at this? And why not? Do I want to keep trying to get better at it, or don't I want to? So that's sort of, like my sense of how do you achieve self-belief? You just
and with
try different things.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you shared, right? And I know for a fact that a lot of people are in this trap, or in this pretty much in this perspective that they have to see it to believe it, right? And I think we spoke about it the other day as well, that everything that you want, right? Everything that you want to be doing, you need to believe it before you can see it. It's not the other way around.
Reverse.
Yeah, it's the reverse, right? Because if you're not in the state of believing something, then how can you possibly see it? Because you don't believe it in the first place.
That is so powerful. Yeah, right? Yeah.
In whatever that you do in life, right? If, let's say, if you want to fix your relationship with your parents, your family, right? The reality is that with your own eyes, you see that things are already in a mess. Let's say you're in a position where things are not so well with your family relationship. But if you, because whatever that you see is going to reflect into your belief system. And how can you fix it? Because your belief system is already it will affect how you see, how you believe that it's not going to work out. But if you're in a state of believing that it's possible, that it's going to work out, then whatever that you see that is translating into the current moment won't really matter, right? Because you're already in a state of belief that things are going to get better. And when you are in continuing being that state, things will get better because it's your belief, right? You act differently, you will do things differently, right?
So let's put it into an example, because I think
know my example was quite bad, but but yeah, let's what examples do you have in mind?
Let's go into it a little bit. So let's say that like for all the people who are interested in like what you do, right? When someone like a coach goes onto a sales call, how do they have the belief that it's going to end in their favor? Like, how do you go about that process of like already going into it with the belief?
So look, the outcome doesn't matter, right? It's all about coming down to really understanding, right, throughout the I would say qualification process or consultation process, to really find out if you are the right person to help them. That's the first thing, right? And of course, the belief comes after. Pretty much my advice to coaches is that you need to believe if you are the right person or not for that particular person, to help that particular person, right? And for you to start seeing, to start really to start reinforcing the belief, is that you need to find out, because you don't want to just believe that you are for everyone, right? And
that's a dangerous trap as well.
Doesn't work out as well, because can you hear me?
Sorry, it just froze a bit.
So
I just saying it's dangerous to be with like for everyone, because we're not all here for everyone.
So the belief that's most important for a coach, I believe, is that they need to have 100% belief that they are able to bring someone from point A to point B, right? Believe in their abilities, believe in themselves, how they look at themselves, their identity. Because if they don't have that self-belief that they're able to help someone, how can someone believe that, you know, that they're the right person to help them?
That's so true. That is just wow.
So the outcome of the call doesn't really matter, right? Because it all starts with, if you believe, when you start believing in yourself, you'll be surprised that you'll start getting into more calls for some reason. That's how the universe works. right? But if you're in the state where you don't believe from the beginning that you are able to help someone or to able to coach someone, even after you've gone through all the trainings, right? For people who just got their certificate in coaching, but at the end of the day, it's just a certificate, right? That certificate is just to, I believe, in a way, it's also a placebo to help you believe in yourself more. But it all comes down to what you truly believe about yourself, if you are able to coach someone or not, right?
Yeah.
And if
And
you
that's
come
exactly
into,
why, you see, you mean, like, a lot of people,
yeah, and
sorry, it's lagging.
yeah, it's all right. I can hear you well. Yeah, you saying?
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just saying that that's why you see that, you know, like Bill Gates, for example, you know, school dropouts, becomes like biggest millionaire in the world. You know, what does he have that other people don't have? But people go to school as well and finish school and go to uni, like, but he believed in something that was bigger than himself, and he went all out, like whatever it took. I'm sure that it was full of ups and downs, and it was such an adventure for him to get to where he is now. But he must have believed in it for him to be able to follow his dreams. Otherwise, you know, it doesn't matter what the road is. It doesn't matter if you go to school or you don't go to school, you drop out. It's like, what do you believe in yourself?
And his purpose is not for himself, right? His purpose is in helping, you know, others in a way. With his, I think he does a lot of he's a lot of charity as well, right? If I'm not mistaken. He started building, so when he's in that state of living a bigger purpose, right? Compared to just being in his world, making the world about others, that's when you have that motivation as well, I guess.
Yeah. And that's where the reinforcement comes in, because you feel that you're doing good for other people, and it makes you feel good, and it's just this cycle that sort of keeps the motivation and momentum going. Well, this has been really awesome. I think we've touched on all of the topics. So I hope that that's really provided some insight into the audience. I just want to do a quick check to see if there are any questions. If you've got questions, drop your comments. Just take a few moments here. No question. That's all right. Well, if you've got questions, anyone can just drop them down. Sorry, there's a lag. If anyone's got questions, just feel free to drop. Sorry, technical difficulties. If anyone's got questions, just feel free to drop them in the comments. Hadzwan and I will get back to you all if you do. Otherwise, Hadzwan, you've been amazing tonight. I've really enjoyed our conversation. How was it for you?
Good. I feel good. I know there are some examples that I could have done better, but I hope everyone that's watching was able to get the message behind whatever that we just shared, right? Because it's a very vast topic, and I truly believe in whatever that you want to do in life, if you get the mindset, energy, and the belief system right, you'll be able to ace in anything that you do in life, regardless in personal or in business. That's just how I truly understand and how I believe how things work in life, right? You need to have all those three things, those three pillars in life, and you'll be
in anything that you do.
In anything that you do.
So this has been really awesome. I've loved speaking to you. And where can, if anyone wants to find out more about you, where can they find you, Hadzwan?
They can just I think Pauline has tagged me in the post, in the text description, so feel free to send me a friend request if you want to have a chat. Let's have a chat. I'm always happy to network and connecting with people, right?
Awesome.
I love communicating.
Yes, we love communicating. And if anyone wants to upgrade their mindset or have a chat about all things mindset or growing and improving their lives in a certain way, feel free to reach out to me as well, my Facebook. Awesome. All right. Well, I look forward to speaking to you again soon, and I wish you all the best.
Likewise, Pauline. So yeah, again, before we end this interview, thank you again, Pauline, and thanks for everyone that's watching. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, right? And I really hope that all of you were able to get some takeaways and something that you can implement. I guess one thing that I really want all of you to take away is that keep marinating yourself in the experience of whatever that you want. In terms of, if you want a 10K a month, translate into your reality before you go to sleep or the moment after you wake up. Really close your eyes and start. This is part of meditation. Be in that experience and really attach those emotions into it, and you will see a change, because that's what has been working for me. So I just want to share that before we end.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, immerse yourself in the experience and make sure you're marinating as well. So yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Hadzwan. That's really valuable.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Appreciate your time. Thanks,
All right,
Pauline.
thanks, everyone. Good night. Bye.
Bye. Bye.